weirder. I've been alive in a while, so I do one real quick. Got a few minutes. Literally a few minutes. Guys Gadgets did a video today about illegals policing. So it's been common knowledge now, like in states like California, they allow illegals to become police because, for the most part, Americans, they're running out of yes men here that are from the United States. So they've been trying to get those from outside, well, they ain't supposed to be here to police us. And his thing is, they don't even know our rights, so they're supposed to be here to protect our rights, which is 100% bullshit. Over time, things are like, knowledge is forgotten over time. That's why, 10,000 years later, we're still trying to figure out how they built the fucking pyramids without modern machinery. Since knowledge is lost over time. People forget, they get comfortable, it's not taught to them, they disagree with it, whatever the case is, it's forgotten. I mentioned a while back that I got a second cousin that's a cop, and when I mentioned our Constitution to her, her response was, "Yeah, but that stuff was written a couple hundred years ago, so it doesn't really apply. It doesn't matter." We're going further and further down this line, and eventually it'll get to where none of that shit matters. It doesn't matter now. If it mattered now, we wouldn't be policed. If the government can police you, you're not free. It's the way it is. You walk into a courtroom. You can start at the bottom or the top, either way. We'll start in the middle. You walk into a courthouse, and they, the first thing they do is want you to walk through metal detector. If you say anything back, they get all shitty with you, get all loud. I say that because I had to go to court today for that part of my record sealed, and my belt buckle set the security alarm off, and they lost their shit about it. And then when I just started asking questions, I'm like, well, they wanted me to take it off. I'm like, you can't just wand me. Then they could have. But I'm like, well, those shorts that you can get that had the belt sewn into them? He's like, yeah. I'm like, well, what would happen if I came in here with one of them when I just had to take my shorts off? He's like, well, no, we wand you and pat you down. I'm like, well, why can't you just do that now? Why make me take my belt off? Well, because it's easier for you to tell me to do something with your magical authority that you believe you fucking have, which doesn't mean dick to me. But then all I did was ask questions. Okay, I didn't get shitty with him. I just asked a question after a question after a question because his answers kept leading to another question. And he asked me if I was like this every day. I'm like, yeah, I'm like this every day. I'm curious all the time. I always want to know the answers of things. And he said I was being argumentative. I said, really? I'm being argumentative by asking questions? He said, well, really, you're being a jerk by asking questions. I was like, so when a cop asked me a bunch of questions, is he being a jerk too? And that's when he shut up. He actually asked me what courtroom I was going to. I guess so he could go tell the prosecutor to, really fuck me, which didn't happen because I wasn't there for, committing any crimes. I was there to eliminate the crimes, and magically they just all went away after about an hour and a half of going through court cases. But whether it's illegals policing you or these fuckers that are doing it today, it does not matter. You know what rights you have? None. You don't have rights. It's a belief. Like, I know internally I have the right to do things, but I also know internally that motherfucker with a bigger stick will kill me if they have to, if they don't want me to exercise those rights. And until people in this country grow a spine and decide that we're going to stick together and be the bigger stick, it's just downhill. That's the road we're on. It's just free falling downhill, free coasting away. And people won't stop it because we all have those excuses. We have our jobs, we don't want to lose our kids or our house or whatever your excuse is. And nobody wants to be that person. But then again, nobody wants to formulate a plan or get together. Oh, that's right, because that's been made illegal when you do that. They call it conspiracy, and you'll face 10 years in federal prison for it. Everything's been made illegal. Any way that you had to fight back has been made illegal. Now, they say this illusion that you can fight back through voting. If you're still buying that shit, you're dumber than most. But gizmos, and if you watch him or you watch Good Luck America, what's that? You know, they do this stuff. They're not like the cops are today. They literally was a stepping stone to what the cops are today. Because, you know, since if you go back and look at the inception of the police forces, they start out like as peacekeepers, you know, peace officers. Like, if you and Bob were fighting, they wouldn't take you or Bob to jail. They would get in between you and Bob and say, hey guys, we don't want this in a society. We're not going to do this. You go that way, Bob, and you go that way, Joe, and everything cool. Then somebody's like, hey, we can make a boatload of money if we start caging people. We'll tell them what to do, and if they don't do or do what we say they can't do, then we'll cage them, and we'll make a boatload of money rolling in. And we can make government fucking bigger, because that's what government does, and inherently tries to consolidate all power within itself and grow. And, you know, the country that was supposed to have the most limited government ever now has the biggest government ever known to mankind. Why? Because of a bunch of spineless, heartless, I want to say men, but I don't even like saying that, because it's just not the case. But you don't have anything to worry about. If illegal, like I said, if it's illegals or cops, it doesn't matter. You know, you're no better off one or the other. At least with an illegal, you might be able to pay the motherfucker off. You know, you get pulled over drinking, you blow a .02 and you're 20 years old, you might be able to give him $100 and walk away from it. We do have that. So, be policed by people that are born here or people that are here illegally. I'm going with the illegals. I mean, I can at least pay them off. We can handle this shit around the roadside. I mean, yeah, I'd rather give you $100 than waste a day in court and lose hundreds of dollars from work, and, you know, had to go back for 20 times for some shit we could have handled the first time because of procedure, get charged $150 in court costs because I want to be here. You know, charge you for shit that you don't want. So that's always made sense. But nobody wants to question this shit. They want to I seen where a cop had died somehow, and I'm like, fuck yeah, that there's a good dead cop, one for the team. And somebody else you know, had to say something about my spelling because my man hands, I got man-sized hands. On them, you see the things on them are called man-sized fingers. Occasionally they hit the wrong button, but they had to say something about my spelling because, you know, there's nothing you can say. You know, you can argue that there's good cops, but you're just a fucking idiot if you try. Are you gonna go douchebag or what? We're gonna have to hit you. Come on, Papa. I gave you a way out. Take it. I thought we were deporting illegals, though. You know, Trump. You remember you guys voted for Trump? He was going to deport them all immediately, which became, we're going to only deport the criminals immediately, which became really nothing. A couple of little spats here and there across the country. People disagreeing with it, and other than that, I mean, ain't nobody listen. I've been having to spend some time in Ohio lately, specifically the Cincinnati area, more specifically like the Springdale, Forest Park, Evendale area. Ain't nobody deporting illegals here. I mean, they want to deport some illegals. Get on O'Reilly's. Just kick back. Just wait. Matter of fact, go to the Mexican Plaza there in Springdale on Kemper Road. There's a whole fucking plaza. Listen, you know that tornado bus? They call it, it's like tornado on the side of it or some shit. Big yellow bus. It's like Greyhound, but not Greyhound. They pick up there and drop off there. Whole bus loads of these fuckers at a time. I ain't seen no ICE agents there. I mean, you know, to me, and maybe it's just me, maybe I'm just a racist fuck. There is that possibility. Where am I gonna park this big bastard at? Park it right here. If you can't speak English, chances are you're probably not from here. Really, you don't need to be here. How did you pass the citizenship exam? Not if you can't speak fucking English. My truck's gonna be so far out of the damn this parking lot. Should be about to hit it at some point. I'm gonna stop right there. It's close now. What time is it? At 1:38 or 1:33. I'm going blind. Hey man, you know what? That's because she's not a refugee. If she was a refugee, she'd be in a neighboring country to Guatemala, not in fucking the United States. That's not a refugee status. When you go through a border and then you go through 2 or 3 more borders to get where you want to go, that's called getting to where you want to be at. That's not called, hey, I want to be here, but these people are trying to kill me, so I'm just getting the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? That's not refugee status. Refugee status is like, you know, in my country, if I said, hey, I can't live here because the gang violence, the gangs are trying to kill me, the police is trying to kill me. Me going to Mexico would be refugee status. Me going to Brazil because, you know, I like the tropical weather wouldn't be refugee status. Which all these refugees and illegals cause all kinds of problems for us. You know, if we destroy, let's use Guatemala. Let's say here in the United States, we abused our resources. We didn't use the resources we had. We abused our economy. We allowed the corruption and abuse to go on so much, it destroyed our country, made it not worth living in, and the gangs took over, right? Would you be okay with us coming to your place and doing the same shit? Because that's what's going to happen. That's what happens. And it may not be your mom. Maybe your mom's not that way. The problem is that most people are that way. Just like in this country, there's a bunch of spineless fucks around. You want a bunch of spineless fucks moving to your country and letting it go to shit? No, it's already shit. That's why your mom wants out of there. Or they wouldn't be able to try to kill her because everybody around her would stand buck up and say, hey, this ain't going to happen. Unfortunately, we all have the same problem. We're all slaves. Everybody's just chasing. And listen, I probably do it too, to be honest with you. I'm not in that situation. You know, thankfully, I say thankfully, man, but is it really any better here? Maybe. I mean, maybe it is in certain ways. In other ways, it's not. But that we got to quit calling them refugees when they jump 4 borders to get here. That's not refugee status. That's not what refugee status is. Bringing people over from the Middle East because they're refugees. That's not what refugee status is. That's not what a refugee is. A refugee is, hey, the shit's hot here and I got to get the fuck out of here. I'm going to die. And then it causes all kinds of problems for the people here. Look at the cost of housing. Wages have been stagnant in this country for 30 years because of illegals. Because it's supply and demand. When you have a bunch of illegals, the supply of labor goes up. The demand for labor stays low. What happens? Wages drop. Well, nobody wants to pick the strawberries. Guess what? They would have to pay people to pick the strawberries. Yes, the strawberries will be more. However, There'd be lower unemployment. Wages could be stagnant. I mean, where I work at, there's some people coming in, entry level machine shop work, so just some basic shit, some welders, some other shit, and you can literally go to McDonald's and make almost what they're making, almost. Why? Because there's fucking a million illegals that can weld. The construction industry. If you are from here and you have a construction business, you've done something really, really, really right. Because the majority of the time, people from other country will do it cheaper because they can do it cheaper because they don't have the same, um, you know, expectations in life. You know, they could live 16 people in a one-room apartment and be happy. I can't. Why? Because I've never done it, number one. Number two, I'm just not happy with that. I don't know. We're a world we live in. Hopefully it changes. Um, there's a right way and a wrong way. There's a lot of people that's waiting in line for a long time to get in this country to do it done it the right way. Get in line. But it still doesn't matter who's policing us. We're all not free either way it goes. None of them give a fuck about our rights because the only rights we have are the ones at the end of the barrel of their gun will allow us to have.